Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today. For this one, we are going to do another out and about video for you. So today, I'm still in Nottingham in England, and we're going to have a little look at this place behind me. So this is Liquid Light Brewing. We are in an industrial estate pretty much, and we're still kind of in the centre of the city. I think this is still Stainton or Snainton, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Probably not, but from what I gather, Liquid Light Brewery are very good when it comes to like session pale ales and stuff like this. So we should find some really nice things in here. But let's do as we always do. We'll go in, we'll have a look around, we'll try some of the beers, and as always, I hope that you guys enjoy this one. Some of the guys might join me for some tastings in this too, so I will catch you in just a second. Let's do this. Alright guys, so like I said, we are just pretty much on an industrial estate here, as you can see. So Liquid Light is in unit number 9, and that's your surroundings. So we can go and have a wee look. As you saw just when I started filming, a bunch of folk arrived, but yeah, you can see all the casks and kegs and stuff outside, and yeah, you come in and you've got your food truck on the right. So today it's Mocky D burgers there, quite good prices actually, which I think is nice. But yeah, you can see some arcade games on the left when you come in, a few barrels there sitting aging away, a few different t-shirts and stuff like that, Liquid Light stuff, which is pretty nice actually. So yeah, a few different events and things like that. But yeah, as you can see up on the wall, you've got Liquid Light Brewery, some fermentation tanks up the back. The bar and the fridge and stuff is over here, which we'll take a look at later on. And yeah, if we come up here, we've got these two reprobates chilling once again. Adam, Mersey Beers, Harry, BluenoseBeerReviews and Ramsby Brewery. And yeah, some more fermentation vessels and stuff like that up here.
Yeah,
but
live fermentation.
Live fermentation, yeah, some live fermentation going on behind me apparently. But yeah, we're going to do our first tasting now. So this one is a lovely Pilsner lager. So let's have a wee look at this and see what we have. Alright guys, well, time for our first tasting then here at Liquid Light in Nottingham. So I've gone for, as I usually do, something that I think will be very, very good to start with. So this beer is called Volume 3. It comes in at 4.5% ABV, and they're describing this one as a Czech Pilsner. So yeah, as you can see and as you would expect from the style, pours a lovely kind of pale golden straw colour. When it came out, it had about a half finger of a frothy, I would say cream coloured head. But yeah, that's faded away to just be a very kind of thin foamy there, just a bit of a ring around the edge of the glass and a few wispy bits in the middle of it. But yeah, lovely clear colour on this one, quite obviously filtered. Not too much in the way of visible carbonation, just a few bubbles going up towards the surface of the beer. But yeah, appearance-wise, this is kind of what you would expect of a Czech-style Pilsner beer, or Czech Pilsner as we should call it. Czech Pilsen would be the correct terminology. So yeah, nothing really untoward with the appearance of this one. Let's have a wee look at the aroma and see what it's all about. Oh yeah, I have to say, it does smell very, very nice and very authentic as well. Yeah. As we said, you know, with the Neon Raptor lager that I tried in the last place we were in, that was quite obviously, you know, an English take on the lager, English malts and maybe a little bit of English hop and stuff like that. This is properly authentic, and this is what I look for when it comes to Czech and German lager styles. I want them to be, you know, quite close to what you would get in these countries. And this really is. Straight away you can smell the kind of crispness of the Czech malt in here, and you can also smell the nice kind of spiciness of the Czech Sats, Žatec hop. So yeah, this is giving you everything you want. Let's break it down a wee bit more and just describe it a bit more in depth. So, yeah. The backbone of the beer then, lovely little bit of kind of fresh white bread crust coming out really well. Yeah, fresh white bready bread crust. On top of that, you know, fluffy and crisp white bread. You can smell a little bit of the dryness and the crispness of the Pilsner malt further back in the nose, but on top of that white breadiness, you're getting a wee bit of like McVitie's digestive biscuit, little touch of caramel and things. Yeah, it goes together really quite nicely actually. Aroma-wise, this is pretty damn solid when it comes to the malt base actually. The more that you smell of it, the slightly sweeter it gets actually. So like I say, sweet, a little bit of sweet biscuit, a more concentrated maybe honey or caramelly character in the middle of the nose. Then yeah, a bit of white bread underneath, a bit of bread crust, and yeah, I think it goes together really nicely actually in that particular regard. So yeah, interesting stuff. So on the hoppy side of things, like I say, I'm pretty sure this is Czech Sats or Žatec that's in here, and this one for me is quite yeah, it's got a nice little touch of earthiness to it. The floral character is quite pungent in this one. It's got a good little bit of spiciness to it, and for me, the spiciness that you get from Czech Žatec is the kind of signature of this particular hop variety. So yeah, you got quite a little bit of that coming out, a wee bit of a zestier, grassy character as well. But yeah, it goes together really nicely in that sense. A little bit of zesty grassiness on the front of the nose. On the fruity side of things, I mean, it's as you would expect. There's a little bit of sultana in there, a little bit of an oily pear, a bit of fresh green apple, maybe a very slight touch of like a lemon lime or something like that. But yeah, everything you'd expect aroma-wise from this style, considering that it is a Czech Pilsner beer, or Czech style Pilsner we should call it, since it's not actually brewed in the Czech Republic. So yeah, nothing else to say about the aroma. Let's get stuck into this one. This one is Volume 3, 4.5% Czech style Pilsner. First beer here at Liquid Light. Slange, skål, cheers. That's pretty damn good actually. Yeah, that's very, very nice. It's not quite as spicy and bitter as I was expecting from the aroma, but still the flavour profile is pretty much bang on for what you'd expect from this style. So thumbs up to Liquid Light. As I say, Harry and Adam told me this brewery's mostly known for their kind of session type beers, but I think this is, and I think this is good actually, so quite impressed with this. Yeah. So it's a really easy drinker, this. I think this is very, very nice. So let's break it down as we always do. Middle of the palate, then you've got a lovely little bit of a kind of fresh white bready bread crust in there. Yeah, fresh white bready bread crust. On top of that, you do get a little touch of like a wholemeal brown bready layer, fluffier white bread sitting on top of that. And then toward the back of that middle third of your palate, you get a bit more of the kind of Pilsner malty dryness. And on top of everything else, a wee bit of a McVitie's digestive, biscuity sort of thing. So yeah, the way that goes together, I think, is really it's really very authentic and very nice actually. You can tell it's got some Czech malt in it, or potentially German malt actually. But yeah, it's the way that this goes together is really nice. Yeah, I do like how this goes together. The more that you drink of it, the sweeter the malty side of things get. It does show you more and more like a concentrated biscuit in the middle of your palate, then a McVitie's digestive sweetness further out, and then yeah, you get a nice little bit of hoppy character out of this one. But yeah, on the hoppy side of things, I think we've covered the malty and yeasty side of the beer as much as we need to. You do get a little bit of a kind of more farmhousey, bready, yeasty character on the back third of the palate. A wee bit of the dryness of the Pilsner malt creeps over there too. But on the hoppy side of things, I would say you've got a little bit of earthiness in there, a little bit of herbal character as you move further forward, but as you move toward the kind of front corners of your palate, you do have a little bit more of this you've got a little bit more of this kind of spicy, floral, aromatic note out of this one. It's the spiciness for me that is the signature of the Czech Sats hop. But round the front curve of the tongue you get a little bit of lighter grassiness as well. And yeah, I think that goes together quite nicely actually. On the front third of your palate then you've got a bit of bread crust in the base, bit of white bread under there, then you get the kind of oiliness out of the beer. You get the fruity side of the beer, and it's kind of as you'd expect. A little touch of sultana, oily pear, a little bit of fresh green apple, and yeah, just a little touch of a slightly lemon limey note behind the very front tip of your tongue, but mainly an oily pear and sultana type quality out of this one. But these are all things that you would come to expect of a Czech Pilsner. But yeah, I mean, the thing for me as well, this one's very, very clean. So if we talk about the mouthfeel, this one, it's a very clean and very light kind of Pilsner beer. So it feels a bit like one of the kind of bigger produced. It does feel a little bit like one of the more kind of bigger produced Czech Pilsners and stuff like that. But yeah, it does have the kind of, the thing that makes it a Czech Pilsner for me is the use of the Sats hops and the kind of malt and things like that. But it does have a bit more of the cleanliness of a German brewed Pilsner, which is interesting. But I mean, IBU wise, I think this is about 25-ish IBUs. It doesn't strike me as being overly bitter, so yeah, 25-ish IBUs, a little bit of a kind of bread crusty base in this one, and then you've also got a wee bit of as we said, you've got a bit of dryness to the malt base, a bit of smoothness and a little touch of sweetness. 25 IBUs, a little bit of an oily fruity character as well. But overall, the way this beer goes together, I think, is really quite nice, and it gets a big thumbs up from me. So yeah, I like this one actually. This has been really nice. So this is the Volume 3 4.5% Czech Pilsner from Liquid Light, our first beer here. So I think we're going to do maybe 3 here again, I think is good. There's a few IPAs and stuff, and they've got some darker things, so I think we'll do that. Maybe an IPA next and then something dark to round off. But this has been a really nice way to start it off, and I hope you guys have enjoyed my take on this one. But yeah, very impressed with this. Solid take on the Czech Pilsner. It's landed just now. So yeah guys, they have quite a kind of extensive list of things on keg here. 8 keg taps and then 4 cask actually. So yeah, you can see the ones on cask here to start off with. A dry hopped wheat pale, Count on Jane. The spiced export porter, Winter Sun. I might need to get that one just because of the name of that, you know, the band and so on. Love Jari Menpa. Yeah, middle of nowhere, the oatmeal brown porter. Quite curious to try that, I have to say. And the Wizard of Finance, best bitter. And as you can see at the back here, they've got a few things on the keg. So you can see Pink Moon, middle of nowhere, Cosmic Debris, with the lights out, the Liquid Light Volume 3, Day Tripper, and then the Smashback Blazers. So yeah, you can see these all down here, the keg ones. So the Pink Moon is a raspberry wheat beer, middle of nowhere is the oatmeal brown porter. So 2 different conditionings of that one on tap, which is kind of interesting. Cosmic Debris, a blueberry sour with the lights out, a 6% New England IPA. They've got the Czech Pilsner, which we just reviewed a minute ago, the Day Tripper Pale Ale, and then they've got a Kvike IPA as well at number 8. So need to think a little bit about what the second one is going to be, but you can see very reasonable prices for these as well, certainly cheaper than Sweden. So not going to complain, a very nice beer list here at Liquid Light. Alright guys, well time for taster number 2 then here at Liquid Light. So yeah, the next beer that we're going to go for comes in at 6.2% ABV and it's called Slashback Blazers. So yeah, it's a Kvike IPA, and I've noticed a few breweries seem to be doing these here in England at the moment for some reason. Not 100% sure why, but yeah, always cool to try them when they come up. So yeah, you can see that when this beer poured, it had maybe about a quarter, 1/3 finger of a frothy cream coloured head. That's faded away to be just a ring around the edge of the glass and a little bit of a wispy layer underneath. But then yeah, you've got a lovely kind of bright mango juice colour on this one. Quite a little bit of visible carbonation, 1 or 2 big bubbles sticking toward the side of the glass. But yeah, nothing particularly surprising about this beer in terms of its appearance when you consider what style it is. It looks good. So yeah, let's have a wee look at the aroma of this one then and see what it has in store for us. Nothing particularly surprising about the appearance of this one. So yeah, let's do it. yeah, I mean, straight away with this one, it doesn't smell madly different from a kind of New England hazy, to be honest with you. The Craig yeast, of course, is an old school Norwegian farmhouse yeast, which works really well with New England IPAs or more hazy IPAs, because it gives you like a little bit of apricot, a little bit of pineapple, and all of these sorts of things. But yeah, I have to say I do like how this kind of pieces together. Yeah, lovely. Just it's a really well balanced beer. That mix of oatiness, wheatiness, yeastiness, big, nice kind of green component, and then lovely juicy fruits. Let's break it down a wee bit more then, and just see what it's all about. So, yeah, on the backbone of the beer, there's a lovely little bit of that kind of fresh white bready bread crust. On top of that, there's a wee bit of kind of wholemeal brown bread, a little bit of a kind of fresh, fluffy white bread as well. You've got a little bit of crackery and woody note in there, which will, of course, be coming from the Craig yeast. And then on top of that, you've got a more dense white bread coming from the wheat, of course. There's a bit of wheaty bitiness on the back of the nose, but it's kind of balanced out by the kind of fluffiness that you're going to get and the farmhousey character from that Craig yeast. Good little bit of oaty, creamy character in there as well. Wee bit of like fucking vanilla. Yeah, there's a wee bit of a kind of vanilla kind of note to this one too, which is quite interesting. I've never really picked that up in Craig beers before, but yeah, you get a mix of, there's a creamy oat to it, there's a little bit of an almost vanilla character in there. Not too much in the way of like, you know, Werther's original butter candy butterscotch, which you can sometimes get in New England. So that's one of the kind of giveaways of a Craig IPA, or one of the benchmarks or traits, I guess would be the right word, when it comes to the Craig IPA. But yeah, this is interesting in the malty and yeasty side of things for sure. On the hoppy side of things, you've got a little touch of earthiness in there, a little bit of herbal character. Quite obviously New World hops in this one though. But yeah, a little bit of earthiness, a little bit of herbal character, some lovely bright floral aromaticity. Not spicy, really more kind of bright rather than anything else. And then you've also got a little bit of that. You've also just got a little bit of grassiness on the front of the nose too. So yeah, I really like how that pieces together in this one. It's really nicely done. So on the fruity side of things, it's what you'd expect. You've got a little bit of a brighter passion fruit. There's a wee touch of grapefruit in there though, I would say as well. A bit of that pungency, lovely bit of passion fruit as well. Quite ripe mango, maybe a wee touch of guava on top of that. A little bit of peach maybe, and then yeah, you've got the softer apricot and stuff like that underneath. I'd be very curious to know what hops they've used in this one, and that's the thing with Craig IPAs. It's a little bit difficult to distinguish between the fruit that comes from the yeast and the fruit that actually comes from the hops. But aroma-wise, this is really very nice. So yeah, let's have a taste of this one then and see what it's all about. Slanja, Skål, cheers. First impression is it's a very kind of woody and crackery sort of IPA. This, of course, it is a Craig IPA, so it really leans toward that more farmhousey and yeasty side of things. But yeah, this gets really woody and really crackery into the aftertaste. But it is really nice and juicy beyond that. Let's break this down and describe it a wee bit more in depth. Yeah, so the backbone of the beer, you've got a lovely little bit of that kind of fresh bread crusty character coming out of it. Further forward on the middle third of the palate, you get a wee bit of woodiness in there. There's a bit of a crackery layer, then a bit of a kind of wholemeal brown bready sort of thing. And it's quite crisp in a sense. Then you get the fluffier white bread on top of that, and the denser kind of wheaty character. And then In the middle of the palate, you get that little circle there where you've got the kind of oaty, creamy side of the beer coming out. And then, yeah, so you get a bit of the oaty creaminess there. It's a bit drier toward the edges of your palate, and there's a little tiny touch of like a Werther's Original butter candy, butterscotchy sort of thing coming out of this one. So, yeah, the way that that goes together, I think, is quite interesting. A good mix of things in the backbone of this beer. But yeah, on the back third of the palate, you can feel the layers are a little bit more taller and more airy. You get more of that kind of farmhousey, grainy, yeasty sort of thing coming out of the beer. It's got a little bit of spiciness to it as well, which I think is really quite nice. Yeah, you get more of the, as I say, you get a bit more wheaty bite and some of the more kind of woody, grainy sort of thing coming out of this one. But yeah, the way that goes together, I think, is really quite nice. So yeah, you can feel back third of the palate, the flavour feels a good little bit taller. And as you come further forward into the middle third of your palate, it just condenses down and squashes together that little bit more. Onto the hoppy side of things then. Back corners of the palate, you've got a little bit of earthiness in there. As you move further forward, it's a little touch herbal, and as you push toward the front corners of the palate, it's got a little bit more of a kind of floral aromatic spice then. Round the front curve of the tongue, a wee bit more light and grassy, a little bit of a kind of zestiness in there as well. And then yeah, on the front third of your palate, you've got the fruits, you've got a little bit of bread crust, a little bit of a kind of brown bready and white bready sort of thing going on. Then yeah, you get that nice juicy bubble with the fruity esters roll their way out of the beer. Yeah, at the back of that front third of your palate, there's a little bit of a stronger grapefruity note out of this one. As you move further forward, it gets a little bit more passion fruity, quite a juicy ripe mango, maybe a little touch of guava or peach or something. Then as you reach the middle of that front third of your palate, you've got the softer apricots and stuff like that too. And then, yeah, as you go into the front half of the front third of your tongue, it's got a bit more of a kind of lemony, limey type character to it. I think Citra and maybe Galaxy in this, it's one of those two and maybe something else that's popping up in here. Citra or Galaxy or Victoria's Secret, something like that. The hoppy side of this beer seems very, very familiar. But yeah, really nice IPA, I have to say. So it gets a thumbs up from me, and I do like that more kind of farmhousey character that the Kvike yeast is giving you. Let's round off then with a wee look at the mouthfeel. So, mouthfeel wise for me, I'd say it's kind of top end and mid-bodied. The carbonation is really smooth in this one. It's quite a creamy beer, this, to be honest with you, but it has quite a dry finish to it. The malt base, pardon me, took a little bit of air in the wrong way there. The malt base gives you quite a little bit of dryness, and the yeasty character's doing that as well. There's a little tiny bit of sweetness to this one, but not overly much. IBU wise, I think it's a fairly standard 30-ish IBUs for this beer. Good bit of floral, good bit of grassy character as well, and you've got some nice juicy fruity notes out of this one. But yeah, this was the backslashed lasers, if I remember the name rightly, coming in at 6.2% ABV, a Kvike IPA from here at Liquid Light. So this is the end of our second tasting. We're going to do a three-way third and final tasting in a little minute, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Catch you guys on the next one. See you soon. So yeah guys, just a little quick look at Liquid Light's fridge and merch. Obviously they've got a few things in here. Stenton Cider Company, Blue Squirrel Cider. Notice in this part of England that the cider is very popular. They've got one or two of their own cans in here as well, and some things from Nirvana Brewery too. But you can build your own box and get mini kegs and things apparently. But you can see up here the brewery t-shirts and stuff, the kind of tie-dye hippie sort of stuff. So yeah, very, very cool. And you can see over here, just on the front of their fridge, they've got a bunch of their, their pump clips and things like that. So that's pretty nice as well, I have to say. But yeah, this is the kind of the merch corner of the brewery actually, and some kegs, and I guess the office up there too. So yeah, that's that. Alright guys, time for review number 3, which will be the final one here at Liquid Light Brewery in Nottingham. So joined by Harry, BluenoseBeerReviews, Adam, Mersey Beers, and this review actually was kind of Adam's idea. So apparently, sorry, okay. We're going to look at a beer called Middle of Nowhere, 5.3% ABV, oatmeal brown porter. So yeah, we have the cask version and we've got the keg version. So yeah, as you can see on both, lovely sort of dark chestnut colour. When they poured, about a 1/3 finger of a frothy kind of fawn ivory coloured head, faded away to be a thin foamy layer now, a bit of a ring around the glass. Not much visible carbonation. Anything else on appearance?
No, the carbonation's still there. I just given the keg one a bit of a going over.
I think the keg's just got a little bit of a chill haze.
Yeah,
that's it. Should we start with keg or cask then?
Cask is king.
Cask is king, okay. I don't agree with Harry, but we'll take his word for it.
Some people can be wrong, and gin's one of them.
So,
earthy malt.
yeah, earthy. A bit toasty, definitely.
Very malty smell.
Bit of rye bread,
Yeah.
definitely.
Pumpernickel.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah. Pumpernickel, brownie bread. A little bit of wholemeal brown bread as well. Toasty brown sugar.
Kind of nutty kind of biscuity note.
Yeah.
Caramel wafer.
No, that's fair.
Not getting any sweetness in the aroma.
There's a wee bit of there's a very slight dry chocolate on this as well. On the hoppy side of things, it's quite earthy, herbal,
Yeah.
a little bit of grassiness. Yeah. Fruity side, black currant.
Yeah, blackcurrant, blackberry.
I don't think it's quite sharp enough for black. I'd see more black currant.
I just thought very tart blackberry.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Keg version of aroma.
Whoa, more blackberry. Black coffee.
Yeah, it actually smells drier and a bit bolder.
A different bit.
Fruity coffee.
Yeah.
I told you it'd be different.
I mean, the bread crust is there, the rye bread, the pumpernickel. It's just it's the same aroma but just on steroids,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
It's got like black sort of notes, and then it's almost more just because that temperature kind of might mute some of the flavours in it.
I mean, what temperature would you store the cask at?
Between 8 and 12.
8 and 12, and the keg would be about 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the lower temperature really gives you the same aroma pretty much, but it's just more punchy. The brown sugars are a bit more prominent, the red is a bit stronger, the hoppy side of things, you get a bit more, the earthiness is a bit more prominent as well, the herbal character, and the fruits. I get more blackberry on this one, more blackberry on this one.
I think it's definitely there on the cask. You're right, it's more muted on the cask than it is on the keg.
Yeah.
I get I think because of the malt base, I get a blackberry pie.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, do that. It has got a wee bit of like a pastry sort of thing, doesn't it? Yeah. But both smell really nice. Go for the cask tasting then.
Yeah.
Alright, slang the boys. Cheers.
Sure. As they say in North Korea.
It's very sessional. There's not much. It's very. Really? It's a lovely malt backbone.
I wouldn't say it's 100% after
No, it's not really a brown ale either. It's close to
I
mild.
reckon it's more mild, yeah. I mean, for me, this is. We've had this discussion between the three of us because I take a bit of ribbon because I'm not the greatest fan of cask. But just as I've said on the channel many a time, for me, English hops just work better with maltier beers, and for me, that's a nice cask ale. That is a nice mild porter stouts for me work on cask.
Very sessional.
Yeah. It has. I mean, for me, a mild is. You guys can correct me on this. A you're comparing it to the mild things, but for me a mild is like England's answer to a German Dinkel or a Czech Cherny. Just a little bit
certainly a Czech Cherny. It's one of those beers that's a dark beer that you're supposed to be able to. Traditionally, you'd go down the mine and come out at lunchtime, have a couple of pints of mild, and be fine, go back down the line.
Yeah, it's been more like a Brewery mild sort of thing.
Yeah,
a bit higher ABV, I suppose.
Yeah.
6%.
5.3. No, I mean the thing is, you get like, the backbone of the beer, like a roasty, toasty, well-fired bread crust. Above, there's a bit of cracker above that, maybe little touch of woodiness further forward on the palate. Rye bread. Rye pumpernickel bread. Wholemeal bread above that. Toasty brown sugar. Not so much chocolate.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe cocoa powder? That'd be accurate. Not the chocolate as such.
Yeah, cocoa powder would work, yeah.
It definitely still has that kind of like drying sense.
Yeah,
which you can make about that.
Yeah.
Toasty, a layer of like a sort of toasty, leathery brown sugar, and a bit of like a sweeter caramel in the very small like circle dead center of the palate.
Have you ever, when cooking, Demerara sugar, when you liquefy that? Very similar. Isn't it?
What do you think about the hoppy, the green side of things? It's floral, there's a lot of hemorrhoids to it. Light floral,
Still getting fruitiness, blackberry.
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
You can feel the link with the woody and the yeasty side of this.
Very malt forward though, I would say.
Oh yeah, I mean, for me it's bomb. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Fuggles in this. Yeah.
I'd like to lean towards Bramley Cross.
Bramley's Cross will give you a bit more red fruit, very popular with English barley wines, actually.
And stouts as well.
But for me, earthy, herbal, very slightly floral, grassy on the front curve at the top. Fruity wise, what would you say?
It's all the dark fruits. I'd say blackberry.
I'd say, a little bit of fig, a little bit of black currant.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's quite as sharp enough for blackberry for me, but we've had this debate many times.
Maybe muted blackberry.
Maybe, yeah. But I think that's fair.
It's definitely on the just on a bit of a swirl. It's more lively than the gas.
Oh yeah, quite an impact on the fruity side too.
That was initially coming off as more like chocolatey for me, but then on the taste it's not like chocolate, it's more fruity.
This is a lot more fruity. It's not quite as full on the malt side.
It's tangy, it's like acidity.
It's the same flavour profile, but it's not as big and heavy, is it?
No, I body's feeling as well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think the main difference really is the way the fruits come out and the thickness of the malt.
Yeah. It tastes like quite toasty up front. And then toasty, bready, and then nutty. That's it.
Are you getting any herbalness from the keg?
Oh yeah. I think that for me the green side of the hops, it's a lot more herbal, a bit more grassy too.
Yeah.
And then it's
almost wheaty.
The thing that's weird about this is it's an oatmeal filter. I mean, that's what's given the pumpernickel rye bread type flavour. I mean, it's really not quite as dry as rye bread. But I think the oatmeal is a bit more apart from the keg than it is in the cask of the keg. But I think the main difference, for me at least, the main difference is the keg is more herbal, more grassy.
Yeah.
Fruitiness is a bit bolder.
Yeah.
The cask is is a bit more bold and malty.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. Which do you prefer?
No, actually, on this one, I would say the cask.
It's
Cask is king.
the style suits
King is
cask better.
Cask is king.
Yeah. I think it's slightly higher temperature.
Yeah.
Cask is king.
Yeah. I think the keg is nice. I mean, that's a bit more Schwarzbier type of or Spavy, whatever you want to call it. It's a bit smoother, so maybe I'd say it's Spavy.
Does remind me if anyone's had the Colonel India Brown. India Brown Porter. Yeah. So that's that keg element. The keg one reminds me a lot of that, but like much toned down because the India Brown Porter from Colonel is 7.4. So it's like it's a big drop on the ABV,
but I mean, both work. But I think cask, to be honest, trumps this one. That's something that he doesn't like.
I know.
Very
different. Which is surprising.
Just moving back off my cask after a few sips of the cake.
Yeah.
It's so much more into it.
A bit of coppery on the cask a little bit.
I think it's got, that's got a wee bit of menthol, yeah. Yeah. I mean, no, I think that does have a wee bit of metallic.
I think that benefits the style of it.
Yeah.
It also be the hits of kind of like fruitiness from one to the next. And you get that kind of slight kind of not rustiness to the same extent as what we have at the beginning of the day, but it does have a slight element to that.
Yeah. No, I mean they're both good. This one's a bit depends how you want it. You know, if you want a bit more breadiness and I like the fruitiness, go with the cask. If you want just a bit more hoppiness, I think go for the keg. Yeah, it really just depends. They're both very nice. On the cask, I'd say it's kind of mid-bodied, middle of the spectrum. Here it's like bottom end of mid-bodied.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot lighter.
Yeah. IBU wise, 25-ish, 30.
That not might be higher.
Might even be more than that because to get past that sweetness of the say 40.
Yeah, no, this is one of the things with the darker beers like this. You've always got the dryness and the bitterness that can kind of blend together. So 40 is possible
as well.
Yeah. The malt base has dryness underneath, smoothness in the middle, a dry sweetness on top. The fruitiness, like you say, a bit more dry and fruity on the cask, a bit more wet and oily on the keg. But both, they work in their own ways. It really depends. I mean, I always find with keg you get a little bit more roundness and sweetness and things like that from them, but the cask is a bit more dry and thick. Yeah, that's a fair way to say it. Anything else? I think that's it. So guys, that was a cask keg comparison of Middle of Nowhere 5.3% and Oatmeal Brown Porter, our last beer here at Liquid Light. So do as we always do, I'll go outside, give you my final thoughts in just a second. I was very excited to press that stop.
I'm just being ready.
Ready?
Go.
Yeah guys, just another little bit of a perspective on the brewery from behind us. So I have to say, quite nice. And we've still got the spontaneous fermentation going. But I have to say, nice vibes. Alright guys, well that is our time over then here at Liquid Light. So we had a really nice couple of hours here. I tried a Pilsner, then the Quake IPA, and then we did a cask keg comparison of the Oatmeal Brown Porter, which was really interesting actually. But I have to say, the prices for me were great. You know, being used to Swedish prices, pretty much everything in England is cheap, but that's by the by. When it was my round, I bought the cask and keg versions of the Oatmeal Porter, and I also got a can of double IPA, and it came to like £10.50 or something like that, which is just crazy. So that's about 130 Swedish kroner, 13 euros, 14 American dollars, something like that. But yeah, we've got Adam pulling up his brake, and it's a little bit windy. But yeah, did you have a good time here at Liquid Light? Yes, you did. Right. So yeah, we are going to go on to Brew Cavern now, and I think we're going to film a Black Iris in a little bit. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But yeah, and there's Harry coming through. So what do you want to do? Yes.
Still filming?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. All right. Apparently that's it. But yeah, that's our time over then here at Liquid Light in Nottingham. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Check out the links to Adam of Mersey Beers and Harry of BluenoseBeerReviews, and I'll catch you guys on the next Out and About video. Slàinte Skull, thank you